Hello everyone and welcome to my 2021 bullet journal setup. I am super excited because 2020 was my first year ever bullet journaling. So now I feel like I have a little bit more of an idea of what I actually need and kind of sort of how to do things, although I still make quite a few mistakes in this video. This year I actually bought two bullet journals, both from Archer and Olive. I'm going to use the one on the right as a art journal kind of thing, so we'll see how that goes. Today we're going to be working in this beautiful, I don't know what that word was supposed to be, beautiful navy blue with the Constellation notebook, and again, both from Archer and Olive. I got the 190 pages just to make sure I'd have plenty of space. And we're going to start out with my quote page. So this is a quote from Tombow, and it says, "The very things that weigh you down are going to lift you up." I have somewhat of a flight kind of paper airplane theme going on throughout this whole setup. So this seemed like the perfect thing. Actually, this quote is what inspired the setup to be like that. So I just used normal writing on the top and then some lettering on the bottom, and if you notice, I have already messed it up because I wrote R twice. I wrote it on the top line and on the bottom line, so we'll fix that in a second. But for now, we just did like a little outline of an elephant looking thing and added 2020 down in the bottom in like block letters. And here's how I ended up fixing it. I ripped out a page of unused bullet journal from my old one and made a paper airplane that I will color in a second and stick it right over top of that R. And you know what? No one will ever know. So that did cause a few problems because it was bumpy, so it was a little bit hard like on the next page to write, but you know what? It's all good. And I think the little paper airplane is super cute. So I used a couple of different Tombows. I have this like royal blue and then like a light blue and a light yellow are the ones that I'm using today. And I will link those as well as the other pens that I use down below. For the lettering, I like the Tombow Feudenowski. And then for the other words and lines and stuff like that, I have the Pitt pens from Faber-Castell. That's who it is. Always with the erasing because always all the pencil markings. If you do not use pencil before your bullet journal, I would highly suggest that you try it. It makes life 50,000 times easier. I promise. Try it. It'll change your life. Next up is a setup I have never used before, but I've seen a lot of people use them in other bullet journal videos, so we're going to try it out. And that is the dot spacing grid. So basically I just numbered the dots on the top and on the side, and then I'm going through and marking my page to show where half of the page is, where a third of the page is, where a fourth of the page is, and stuff like that so that I can easily find it later. So I actually used this today as I'm recording the audio for this, and I was doing a little setup and I needed to figure out where the thirds were, and so it was super easy because I could just look and see, oh, it was this many spaces, and it made life so much easier. So hopefully I'll get a lot of use out of that. We shall see. On the other page, I put another quote because I just needed some kind of filler. So this one's really simple. It just says, "Don't just fly, soar," which I think is also from Tombow. Also, I've never seen Tombow, so I should probably watch that. But alas, then we have a little paper airplane that is flying up, 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 and away. All right, next up is the future log. Now, I almost didn't use this spread because honestly, last year I really didn't use it. But the reason I didn't use it was because it was 2020 and pretty much everything got canceled. So I didn't really need to keep track of concerts and vacations and all that kind of stuff because there just wasn't much going on. So I thought I would give it another try this year, see if I use it more this year than I did last year. So we shall see. Now, right before I did this video, I watched Amanda Rach Lee's bullet journal setup, and she did this little semi-Dutch door kind of thing, and I was like, that is brilliant. So on this middle page, I cut off like the top and then the edge so that it's like not its own page. So there's only one title for both sets of pages because I have 6 months on each one. So if you're not familiar, a future log is just where you write things that are going to happen in the future. So easy peasy. And again, that would be why I did not use mine in 2020. So I just went really simple, and so I put 3 months on each page, and I added a little quote up here, which honestly I can't read. So I will see if I can find which one I used, but it was just really simple. And then I use these little stamps that I have off of Amazon. I will link them below. They have all of the months, and then they have some other things as well. They're super helpful because, y'all, I am not sitting there and writing out every single day of every single month for the entire year, because no one has time for that. I always see people do that and like write all those little numbers, and I'm like, not gonna happen. Nope. So the quote that I went with says, "Spread your wings, it's time to fly, make the leap, own the sky." So good. Keeping that same little theme. So these stamps are like rubber, and you stick them on an acrylic block. So I will link both the block and also the stamps below. I use them literally every month, so they are definitely worth the investment, although they're also quite cheap. So there's that. I will say I don't totally love how this turned out. I didn't do a good job of like centering the months, but it's going to be functional, I hope. So I just added like yellow to the top, and then we're on to the next spread. Now for this one, I have a really cool idea that I'm super excited about, and this is going to be my goal spread. But if you watch my channel, you know that I have many different aspects of my life where I have goals. So I have a business on Teachers Pay Teachers where I sell resources for music teachers, and that comes with a blog and a YouTube channel and all that stuff. And then I have this YouTube channel where I help Teachers Pay Teachers authors, and then, I just have lots of different things going on. So I wanted a separate page for each goal. So what I did is I cut out some pages from my other bullet journal, my old one, and I used, this was the only pretty tape that I had, so it doesn't totally match the theme, but you know what, it's whatever. And so I just taped them together on the sides so that they will fold out. So I had to practice this a couple of times to figure out like which way I wanted it to fold and everything. And this way I have a separate page for Becca's music room. I have one for this YouTube channel. I have one for Becca's Bible class, because I also sell things on another Teachers Pay Teacher store where I sell Bible resources, and that has a blog, and all those, just everything comes with it. And then also H for personal goals, because like there's things in my personal life I would like to accomplish as well. And so just all of these things really made a difference. I also typically have goals for school, but I think this year my goal is just kind of just survive until the end of the year. So there's that. So here's how it looks when you fold everything out. And then I kept these really simple. I did not go through and fill them out in this video because I still am kind of like thinking through exactly what all I want to be able to do next year. And as I'm watching this, I just realized that totally says 2020 goals in the 2021 bullet journal setup. Of course it does. So I guess when I finish recording this, I will go and fix that, because that's where we are. So if you mess up, don't worry. I think I'll just put like a piece of paper on top of that says 2021, because apparently I don't know what year it is, because I still kind of think it's March sometimes. But the fold outs are super cool, right? So at least I got that part figured out. So next up, I'm just going to go through and label each one very simply. And then I will come back and put all the stuff in here a little bit later. I find it easier to do like the setup and then the actual planning at 2 different times than to try to do it all at the same time. I cannot believe I put the wrong year. So once I had all of those, I had 2 pages left. So what I did on these is I wrote each quarter. So what I like to do is I break down my goals into different quarters so that I'm not like stressing about doing them all at the same time. So I'll have some things that I start right off the bat with the year, and then I'll have other things that maybe I'm saving for the second quarter or the third quarter or the fourth quarter. And that way it just really helps to break things down so it's not like, oh my gosh, there's all these things that I need to get done. It's more like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm focusing on now, and then the other things you can plan to focus on later. Still can't believe I wrote 2020. Also can't believe I didn't notice till just now, but at least I noticed before I got this video up, right? Yeah, that's where we are. I'm really proud of these folding out pages though. I'm super excited about that. At the bottom, I wrote, what if I fly? And then it says, oh my darling, what if I fall? And then it says, oh my darling, but what if you fly? All right, next up, I'm doing some planning pages. So I'm gonna have one of these for each aspect of my business. So I have, this is Becca's Music Room. And then I'll have one for this YouTube channel, Becca's Teacherpreneur Academy, so BTA. And then I'll have one for Becca's Bible class. And for each one of these, I just wrote blog posts, videos, products, and then I'm just going to write down all my ideas here, and then down in the corner is going to be my audience tracker. So in the past I've always done this weekly in like my monthly layouts, but I wanted to do it this way so I can see each month like at a glance how we are growing. So the 3 things I'm tracking are Instagram followers, YouTube subscribers, and email list subscribers. So I will have that for each of those. And I just kept this thread super, super simple because it doesn't need to be fancy. I did like the little dotted line so it kind of looks like the paper airplanes going on. Now, actually, when I was doing this, I skipped these next 2 pages because I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and then I came back the next day and added these. So this is a needle moving strategies page. So basically, I'll just write down really specific things that are going to help me get towards my goals. So like specific videos, specific products, all that kind of stuff. And this page is going to be super helpful. So I just wrote down each of the months of the year, and I'm going to like plan things out that way. So for example, I know that in November, I'm going to do a couple of gratitude things for my Becca's Bible class. So like blog posts and videos and stuff. And so I wanted to be able to go ahead and write that down now so I don't forget that I wanted to do that. And there's already some Christmas things that I know I want to do next year I didn't get a chance to do. So that was just a nice way to think through like, okay, we'll do it there. And then that way when you're planning out your months, you can look and say like, okay, this is what I need to do. And then also you can look and say, okay, I have a lot of things in this month. Why don't I move some things to next month, which is super helpful. This next page is super simple. It is my cello playing tracker. So I just wrote the names of the books I want to get through this year, and I'm just going to add like little circles as I start playing a new piece, and then I'll check them off when they're done. And then the next page is miles that I have been running, so I'm just going to color those in as we go. So next up, I kind of cheated and I printed these out from Becca's Bible class. They are just little bookshelves, and they are for the books of the Bible. So you saw that 2 had the books of the Bible like written in there, and then 2 don't. They are blank, and so the idea is that your kids can write in the books of the Bible. Yes, I definitely put one in upside down. I'm aware. We're just going with it because I couldn't get it to come back up. And so we're just, yeah, it's whatever. So I will link these below. They're super, super cheap and really simple. It's those 4, and I just printed them at like half size. So I just did like 50%, and it was totally fine. And glue those in with my little Tombow, I don't know what it's called. It's like, it looks like whiteout, you know, like that whiteout you used to like roll. And it's like that, but it's a glue instead. So that's what I used to put those in. On the books page, I put a sticky note that says my goal, which is 35 books. I usually do one more than I read last year, but I'm hoping we're not going to be in quarantine this year, so I will probably not have as much time to read books. And then at the bottom, I wrote, that's the thing about books, they let you travel without moving your feet. It's just a nice little quote. It kind of goes with the theme. And then on the other page, I put the books of the Bible that I will color in as I read those. And then I put the Bible verse, those who wait for the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar like eagles, which is Isaiah 40:31. And I used another sticky note to make a little paper airplane off of that. I originally was going to put the quote right where 1 John is, which is why I rewrote 1 John somewhere else, and then I moved it. So now I just have it written twice. So again, if you mess up in your bullet journal, it's not a big deal. And hopefully you will be the one who sees it, not like the whole internet. For the next page, I'm making a bucket list. This was also one that ended up not being as useful last year as I wanted it to be, again, because we were in quarantine. So these are things that I want to do but aren't like goals. So like last year, I had things like try a new restaurant downtown, and I wanted to go to the art gallery, and you know, lots of stuff like that didn't happen. But putting those things down on paper just makes them more intentional, and so I remember to do them even though they're not like big things. One thing I did do was renew my library card. So again, not big enough to be a goal, but it's something I wanted to do. So I used this piece of paper that I had painted like a grayish bluish color, and then I drew the little tower. Well, hopefully it looks like Big Ben from London, and then 2 stars, so kind of a little Peter Pan thing going on there with the second star to the right. And I used that same glue thingy to do that. I like destroyed that thing during this, y'all. Destroyed it. And then I just used some paper. Actually, it was the leftover paper from the bookshelves that I cut out to draw that on, and then also to add the bucket list items. And I used a sticky note that just says, just think of the happiest things. It's the same as having wings, which is from Peter Pan. I love Peter Pan. So here you can see I just added some paper and used that Tombow Feudenowski. I did one in calligraphy and then lists just kind of like normal, and made a little outline around it. It's not super straight. I don't really care. Sometimes I'm like, I need to use a ruler, and then other times I'm like, it's close enough. Can't really tell you why, but that's where we are. These papers are also quite crooked because I did not use anything to make them straight, and again, I'm fine with that. Alright, so here is the final flip through of my bullet journal. So you can see all of the spreads that I did. Comment down below with what your favorite of each of the spreads are. I will leave links to the things that I used and also those bookshelves down below. So if you are interested in any of those, then you can check them out. And thank you so much for watching. I'm super excited for this year and just like another year of bullet journaling and trying new things. And yeah, I hope you have a great one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.